I have been building gaming PCs for a very long time, but lately something has felt a little off. Hardware prices continue to climb, brand new builds are getting harder and harder to justify, and a lot of people are starting to look for completely different ways to play games. So the question that I keep asking myself is, where is PC gaming actually going? Last week I put together a build guide for a $1,200 1440p gaming system, and I think that build guide went pretty well, and a lot of you guys seemed to agree with me, but I did get a comment on that video that said, let's be real here. Just don't build a PC right now unless you absolutely have to. Now, I am not at all throwing shade at that individual or his comment, because I actually kind of agree with him. For the past few months, I have actually started to kind of shy away from PC build content because PC hardware just costs too much. Now, you can find used systems for a relatively good price, but you have to hope that that seller didn't remove the RAM and sell that individually, and God forbid he took the SSD out of there, because you're gonna have to replace that, and that easily costs 3 times as much as it used to for even 1 terabyte of storage. Now, as for the build that he did comment on, I stand by the fact that that is an extremely nice 1440p gaming system, and if your budget is $1,200, that is a wonderful option to go with. But in order to get that PC to be $1,200 with that type of performance, I had to utilize bundle deals from Newegg. Now, Newegg does these quite often. It's the ability to purchase multiple items for your build and save a little bit of money. But the trade-off is that I don't really get to pick and choose which individual parts are going to be going inside of my PC. Now, the RAM inside of that bundle deal was 100% the driving factor of why I chose that bundle for that particular build, because 16 gigs of RAM right now is like $200, which is completely insane, but I needed that RAM, and the whole bundle costs like $460. It came with the motherboard, the CPU, and an AIO along with that RAM, and that's a fantastic deal, but I'm not able to choose. I'm not able to pick and choose anything else that goes inside of that PC, and sometimes that doesn't sit right with the PC Elite. So when I think about that guy's comment, the fact that RAM is like the same price as a lot of graphics cards right now, SSDs are through the roof, like 3 times more expensive, even for 1 terabyte of storage, and GPU prices are absolutely out of control, I can't help but think that they're trying to kill PC gaming. But wait, there's more. Not only does this apply to PC gaming, the new Xbox is rumored to be somewhere between $1,000 and $1,300, which is absolutely insane to me, because I still can't justify the idea of spending $600 on a console. Now, that is just a rumor right now, but think about it. 32 gigs of RAM is like $500 right now. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities to think that every laptop, console, desktop, and handheld are primed for massive price hikes. They got us by the balls, man. Whatever they say goes. And it is no secret that once prices go up and the general population has accepted those prices, you'd be hard pressed to find them come back down even a little, if at all. So what does the future of gaming actually look like? I ask myself this quite a lot these days, because a large portion of what I do on this channel is PC builds, PC flips, and hardware reviews, and watching all of that just fade away is not the most fun. Even if I do understand the fact that nothing lasts forever, eventually every single thing is going to evolve into the next generation of that thing. I mean, hell, I'm so old, I remember when the Nintendo 64 came out and it was mind-blowing. It was like the best thing that ever existed. And now you can play Call of Duty at 4K resolution with 240 hertz refresh rate on a handheld. We've come a very long way from me playing Sonic the Hedgehog on my Game Gear. You know, there actually might be quite a few of you watching who have no idea what that is. And let me tell you right now, you missed out. So if everything we know is changing, then where do we go from here? Well, I have spent the last few months thinking about it, and my best guess is this right here. This right here is a mini PC, and before you go crazy, just hear me out. These things right here are nothing new. If you go on Amazon right now, you could search for one of these and thousands of them will pop up. There are definitely no shortage of them. And for the longest time, I've tried to figure out how to justify owning one because, you know, I don't need it for gaming. I have desktop for that. Every TV is basically a computer at this point, and if I needed something compact, I'd just go ahead and get a laptop. But if prices keep going up, this starts to look better and better. So this little unit right here is made by the company Paladin. It has a 7640 HS CPU, which it's a 16-core 12-thread processor, and if you needed like a quick reference on what that's like equivalent to desktop-wise, it's like a 5600X from the AM4 platform. So it's still a pretty decent little CPU. But this thing also has 32 gigs of DDR5 memory and a 1 terabyte SSD in it, and a price tag of only $560. And if we're using our big brains, that is only slightly more than what it costs for 32 gigs of desktop RAM. And because of that, things like this start to look pretty good. Now by itself, this thing is not going to turn very many heads. It is a good home PC for emails, web browsing, watching videos, just the basic computing, and it's even good for some pretty light gaming. Hell, I even installed Arc Raiders onto this thing right here, and while the gameplay did not put my jaw on the floor, I could in fact still play while I was getting something like 40 FPS with all the settings set to low. But in less intense games like Forza 5, we were able to break the 60 FPS threshold, and we even got amazing gameplay in something like Hollow Knight. So it is really all going to depend on what type of games you want to play, but you can even improve upon this with something like this right here. This thing is an eGPU docking station, and I gotta tell you, this little thing kicks a lot of ass. With this particular unit, you're able to attach a power supply and a graphics card to this thing, and you can use this on any PC that has at least USB 4 or an Oculink connection. So with this little thing right here, you can turn any computer into a gaming PC, which is awesome. So on the dock that I have right here, I put a 9060 XT 16 gig graphics card, and because we only need to power the graphics card, I added a 450 watt power supply, and I was able to go from 40 FPS low settings at 1080p to 60 FPS high settings at 1440p. And that is an absolutely massive improvement. And for the bundle that I have here with the mini PC, the total cost of this entire unit is only $1,100, and that's because I found a fantastic deal on the 9060 XT on the used market. And seeing as how the driving factor of why PC gaming could be in jeopardy is the price of everything, it's not a bad idea to take a look at the used market. From time to time, I use it all the time, and I find great deals on extremely powerful hardware for much less than you're ever gonna get it brand new. Like this 9060 XT that only cost me $340. That's $100 off on a 16 gig graphics card. It's a pretty darn good deal. But let's go ahead and take this one step further. What if I was to grab this graphics card, pull it out, lift it above my head, and let it float up into the sky and into the cloud? Well, if that does happen, then we have arrived at the exact reason why I think this right here is the next stop in the gaming ecosystem: cloud gaming. When one of the richest and most powerful men in the world speaks, might be a good idea to listen. 10 years ago, to pretend like I would have gotten my prescription drugs from Amazon, I would have called you crazy. And also, if you'd have said that I could buy my next automobile on Amazon, I'd have said you were nuts. But here we are, driving our Honda Civics and eating Percocets, all thanks to Amazon. We should probably cut that. Probably not a good look. In a recent article, Jeff Bezos said that cloud-based subscriptions would soon replace the traditional personal computer, stating that PC technology will soon become too expensive, forcing people to choose subscription-based cloud computing. Rising prices, huh? That sounds familiar. I mean, look at Nvidia as an example. I mean, everyone goes frickin' banana sandwich when you use anything but Nvidia in your PC build, but even they have started scaling back consumer grade graphics cards, causing the prices to go up, and it's not gonna be long before they no longer make cards for gamers, and they're just gonna focus primarily on AI. Companies like Crucial have actually already done just that. I actually had a contract signed with Crucial to do a sponsorship spot on a couple of my videos, and at the last minute, after I had recorded everything, they hit me with an email saying that they were no longer going to be needing my services because they're no longer going to be making consumer grade SSDs and RAM. So right there, we lost a large producer of SSDs and RAM to, you guessed it, AI. So it's not hard for me to imagine that this right here would be the only thing in your house, and the amount of graphics power you have from this little tiny thing is all all gonna depend on how much money you're willing to shell out monthly. You only got $10 to spend on gaming this month? Well, that's 1060 performance for you, peasant. And it's not just PCs that are going to change with cloud gaming. I can get on my TV right now and play Fortnite if I wanted to, and I don't own a console. So TVs are already advancing to the point where you're not gonna need an Xbox or a PlayStation. All you're gonna have to do is pay every single month to have all of your games already on your TV. The PC would primarily be for mouse and keyboard monitor users for high refresh rate gameplay. Because, you know, PC master race. So does that mean that I'm gonna stop building gaming PCs? Hell no. How the f would I customize this thing? And should you hold off on building a gaming PC? Probably not. I mean, you only get to do this life thing one time. You might as well go and get what you want. Besides, right now, currently, the technology isn't there to give you the kind of gameplay that you would want, but we're only getting more advanced with time. But me and Jeff Bezos are pretty confident that sometime in the near future, you and I are gonna be on Discord talking about which mini PC color we're rocking to match our Neuralink implants. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'm gonna see you in the next video.